Number one, the beginning of the universe. This argument is as follows. Whatever began to exist must have a cause. The universe began to exist, therefore the universe had a cause. Premise number one uses the law of causality. Non-being cannot cause being. In other words, from nothing, nothing comes. Since nothing is nothing, it can do nothing. Therefore, it can cause nothing. Hence, whatever began to exist needs a cause for its existence. Premise number two contends that the universe had a beginning. Scientific evidence for the beginning of the universe includes the second law of thermodynamics, also known as energy deterioration, and the Big Bang model. The second law of thermodynamics is one of the most firmly established laws of modern science. It states that the amount of usable energy in a closed system is running down. This means that someday in the finite future, all the energy in the universe will be useless unless there is intervention from outside the universe. In other words, if left to itself, the universe will have an end. But if the universe is going to have an end, it had to have a beginning. At one time in the finite past, all the energy in the universe was usable. Since the universe is winding down, it must have been wound up. The universe is not eternal, it had a beginning. Since it had a beginning, it needs a cause, for from nothing, nothing comes. Due to energy deterioration, if the universe is eternal, it would have reached a state of equilibrium in which no change is possible an infinite amount of time ago. All of the universe's energy would already have been used up. Obviously, this is not the case. Therefore, the universe had a beginning. The Big Bang model also indicates that the universe had a beginning. In 1929, astronomer Ed discovered that the universe is expanding at the same rate in all directions. As time moves forward, the universe is growing apart. But this means that if we go back in time, the physical universe would get smaller and smaller. Eventually, if we go back far enough in the past, the entire universe would be what scientists call a point of infinite density, or a point of dimensionless space. However, if something is infinitely dense, it is non-existent, for existent things can only be finitely small. The same can be said for points of dimensionless space. If a point has no dimensions, it is non-existent, for it takes up no space. Of course, we're talking about the physical universe. If a point has no dimensions, it is non-existent, for it takes up no space. Therefore, if the Big Bang model is correct, it shows that the universe began out of nothing a finite time ago. There have been two main attempts to refute the beginning of the universe. The first is called the steady state model. This view holds that the universe never had a beginning. Because of the mounting evidence for the Big Bang model, this view has been abandoned by most of its adherents. The second attempt to evade the beginning of the universe is called the oscillating model. This model teaches that at some point during the universe's expansion, gravity will halt the expansion and pull everything back together again. From that point, there will be another Big Bang. This process will be repeated over and over again throughout all eternity. However, the oscillating model fails. First, there is no known principle of physics that would reverse the collapse of the universe and cause another Big Bang. Second, scientific research has shown that the universe is not dense enough for gravity to pull it back together again. And third, even if it could be proven that several Big Bangs have occurred, the second law of thermodynamics would still require that there was a first Big Bang and therefore a last Big Bang. Many scientists accept the beginning of the universe but believe that it does not need a cause. The evidence proposed by these scientists consists of speculation dealing with quantum physics, the study of subatomic particles. Appeal is made to Heisenberg's principle of indeterminacy in order to claim that quantum particles pop into existence out of nothing entirely without a cause. However, Heisenberg's principle does not necessitate such an absurd interpretation. Simply because scientists cannot presently find the causes for quantum events does not mean that the causes do not exist. All that Heisenberg's principle states is that scientists are presently unable to accurately and simultaneously measure both the position and the momentum of a subatomic particle. If this principle proved that events can occur without causes, then this would destroy one of the pillars of modern science, the principle of causality. Every event must have an adequate cause. It seems obvious to me that the principle of causality is on firmer epistemological ground than the belief that things can pop into existence without a cause. Non-being cannot cause being. The universe had a beginning, then it needs a cause. Besides the scientific evidence, there is also philosophical evidence for the beginning of the universe. If the universe is eternal, then there would be an actual infinite number of events in time. However, as Zeno's paradoxes have shown, it is impossible to traverse an actual infinite set of points. If we assume the existence of an infinite amount of actual points between two locations, that's a big assumption, then we can never get from location A to location B. Since no matter how many points we have traversed, there will still be an infinite number of points left. If the universe is eternal, then there must exist an actual infinite set of events in the past, but then it would be impossible to reach the present moment. Since the present moment has been reached, there cannot be an actual infinite set of events in the past. There could only be a finite number. Therefore, there had to be a first event, hence the universe had a beginning. It should also be noted that if it is possible for an actual infinite set to exist outside of mind, contradictions and absurdities would be generated. To illustrate this point, let's look at two infinite sets. Set A consists of all numbers, both odd and even. But set B contains only all the odd numbers. Set A and set B are equal since they both have an infinite number of members. Still, set A has twice the number of members as set B, since set A contains both odd and even numbers, while set B contains only odd numbers. It is a clear contradiction to say that set A and set B have an equal amount of members, while set A has twice as many members as set B. Therefore, actual infinite sets cannot exist outside the mind. Actual sets existing outside the mind can only be potentially infinite, not actually infinite. These sets can be added to indefinitely. Still, we will never reach an actual infinite by successive addition. Therefore, the universe cannot have an actual infinite number of events in the past. The universe had a beginning. Since the universe had to have a beginning, it had to have a cause. For from nothing, nothing comes. But if the universe needs a cause, what if the cause of the universe also needs a cause? Could we not have an infinite chain of causes and effects stretching backwards in time throughout all eternity? Obviously, the answer is no. For we have already shown that an actual infinite set existing outside of a mind is impossible. Therefore, an infinite chain of causes and effects is also impossible. There had to be a first uncaused cause of the universe. This uncaused cause would be eternal, without beginning or end. Only eternal and uncaused existence can ground the existence of the universe. Several attributes of the uncaused cause of the universe can be discovered through the examination of the universe. This debate, hopefully, is evidence that intelligent life exists in the universe. Since intelligence is the perfection found in the universe, the ultimate cause of the universe must also be an intelligent being, for intelligence cannot come from non-intelligence. No one has ever shown how intelligence could evolve from mindless nature. Morality also exists in the universe, for without morality, there would be no such thing as right and wrong. However, the moral judgments we make show that we do believe there are such things as right and wrong. Still, nature is non-moral. No one holds a rock morally responsible for tripping them. There is no way that mere molecules in motion could produce moral values. Since nature is non-moral but morality exists in the universe, the cause of the universe must be a moral being. Therefore, the uncaused cause of the universe must be an intelligent, moral being. This means that God must be a personal being. Number two, the continuing existence of the universe. Experience shows us that limited dependent beings exist. These limited dependent beings need other beings for their continued existence. For example, I depend on air, water, and food to sustain my existence. However, adding limited dependent beings will never give us an independent and unlimited whole. Therefore, the sum total of limited dependent beings is itself limited and dependent. If each individual part of a floor is wood, then the whole floor will be wood. Likewise, if each part of the universe is dependent, then the entire universe is dependent. Hence, the ultimate cause of the continuing existence of all limited dependent beings must be unlimited and independent.